Batin beru lagomo Kasisa 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 Kayola Isakovo Niniba Niyeteka Malikba Tẹ̀síwájú ọ̀pọ̀ ire àtòhun tó dára Olúwa ti dé bọ́ sí ipò ẹ̀tọ́ rẹ ìwọ ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ gbogbo adúláwọ̀. I don't know this. Loco, I saw that. If I look, I saw that. Your if I look myself all right. Hello, hi everyone. I think I'm the only one live right now, at least, but that is not going to certainly stop me. If you're joining us, if you're going to be joining us in the future, I wanted to welcome you to the Oro Inugi. For Oro Inugi is an advocate for the poor. He is first the land, Oduduwa descendant. I am speaking to you tonight. And before I go on with this program, I'd like to take this time to thank our Heavenly Father, Olodumare, the God who was, who is, and the God who is always will be. I wanted to say Iba Olodumare, Iba Koda, Iba Sheda, Iba Gbogbo àwọn olúmọlẹ̀, Iba àwọn òrìṣà, Iba àwọn alálẹ̀, Iba àwọn onílẹ̀, àtilé àtoko, Iba gbogbo àwọn òrìṣà, Iba àwọn olúmọlẹ̀. Today I'm going to be, I wanted to also say a big shout out to all the Seshe practitioners in Yoruba land. Àyíntẹ́ wà nílé àti àwa tá wà ní òkè òkun wípé a kú ọdún, a kú ọdún, a kú ìdún. Olódùmarè a máa jẹ́ kí ìwúre wa nínú ọdún tuntun yìí kó já sí rere. Ẹ má bínú fún Yorùbá mi kò dánmọ́rán dáadáa, àwọn máa sọ náà ní tá sì máa get it right. Mo fẹ́ kí àwọn bàbá wa nílé, màá kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti orí aládé, bàbá gbogbo ọba Onírìṣà, Ọjájá the second, pé mo kí yín o, mo kí gbogbo ilé, mo ṣe ìbà o, mo kí gbogbo ìlú, mo kí gbogbo ètò tí ẹ ti ń ṣe. Mo kí our new Aláàfin of Ọ̀yọ́, ọba wa Ọwọ́adé, fún mo congratulate yín fún orí ìtẹ́ bàbá yín tí ẹ step into, pé orí yín Olódùmarè àti gbogbo àwọn arúnmọlẹ̀, particularly Ṣàngó fúnra ẹ̀, a tọ́ yín sọ́nà bẹ́ẹ̀ sì máa darí wa ní ayọ̀ àti ìdùnnú àti àlàáfíà. Mo kí gbogbo ilé. Mo kí bàbá tèmi náà nílùú tèmi, Olú Ìníṣà, ọba wa Fáṣíkùn the second, bàbá Joseph tọ̀wọ̀tọ̀ mo fi kí yín bàbá o. Mo ṣe làbọ̀rúbọ̀yè, mo kí gbogbo ilé. Mo dẹ̀ kí gbogbo àwọn ọ̀dà lọ́balọ́ba, àwọn oníjòyè, àwọn all our leaders. Mo sì tún kí bàbá wa náà, Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò lógún ọ̀fẹ́ o. Mo kí yín o, mo kí gbogbo ilé. Mo kí Chief Sunday Igboho àti gbogbo àwọn ẹgbẹ́ wọn. Mo kí gbogbo àwọn iṣẹ́ takuntakun tí gbogbo yín tẹ́ ti ń ṣe, pé Elédùmarè á jẹ́ kí a kó kákó gbogbo nǹkan tá à ń ṣe, kó Elédùmarè kó fi ọwọ́ sí, kó lè ṣe ká lè di ilẹ̀ lérí. Ìyẹn jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. So, and I also greet all of our fathers here and all over the world. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ má bínú tí mo bá dárúkọ yín o, àmọ́ mo gbọ́dọ̀ dárúkọ àwọn bàbá mi nílé. Mo kí gbogbo the family of the Adesoye of Ọládùnjoyè all over the world, wherever it may be. Mo dẹ̀ kí àwọn bàbá mi Òṣàbíjì. There's only ìbejì kan ní gbogbo ìlú Ìníṣà. Mo kí gbogbo ilé, mo kí yín sà. And today is more like a day where I wanted to reintroduce myself. It's been a minute since the last time I addressed the house, the family. Obviously, my today's program is not meant for just Yorubas or àwọn ọmọ Odùduwà in Nigeria alone. I wanted to share a little bit about myself to give my brothers and sisters a chance to get to know me better. But not just that. I wanted to share about myself and my family, and yeah, some of what I've been working on in the last what I've been working on for a while now, and particularly in the area of creative work and my life work in general. It's been a very long journey for me. Those who know me from way back were familiar at least with some of my stories, or what they heard, or what has been told, or what they've read, or what's been gossiped about. All of those, they are all welcome. It's a privilege. But more importantly, I wanted to take this time because tomorrow is the official date we've chosen in North America. Those of us who are in North America, that's Canada, US, Mexico, and everywhere else that is connected to North America, and of our general family in the diaspora. I'm talking about Yoruba's family, Omo Odùduwà, and Omo Karo Ajire, and generally Yorubas in the diaspora, and all our cousins, all the Odùduwà descendants and cousins from all over the world, who may come in contact with this content now or in the future. I wanted to welcome you all. Today's program, I've targeted to be when I was your age. It's one of the material I've been working on for a while now. I think since my firstborn, Adeyinka, turned 5 years old. The idea is basically simple. It's more of what I target to be is that when I was your age. It's just simple that, because I mean, this is a general conversations for anyone who might be interested. In some of the work, my life work, what I wanted to talk about, what I wanted to use my platform to communicate, in particular, since I've been working on some of the incredible creative stuff, work that I've been involved in for a long time, like I said. And I feel like I'm ready now to start putting out some of those materials, and I mean, with the intent that it achieve the reason for putting those out. So I think, let me not get out of myself here, to make sure that I'm hitting all of my point, to make sure that I'm following all of my what I wanted to say here, so I don't lose track of time. Yeah. So, but essentially, that's what I intend to do with this program. I don't see anyone online live right now. Maybe because my own program, when I'm ready, I'm ready. But whoever we join in later will come in contact with this content and interact with it however they see fit. I will be creating more content as well from a different platform, and then be uploading them to Facebook. If that would, I think that will help. And like I said, for some of you who are familiar with some of my work, whether from college, whether from wherever our contacts touch point might have been, there hasn't been a time where I come out to basically talk about what I do or what I don't do, and there has been a lot of feedback from friends and family who were like, hey, well, boy, now, what do you have going on? And it's not a lack of, time. I just want to make sure that when I'm ready to start putting out some of my materials, that one, they're right, they're ready. Most importantly, I'm also doing it for the right reason. And those are all combinations of reasons why I'm taking my time. I have taken my time to make sure that I'm very clear-headed in where I'm going, in direction I'm going, and the kind of boundaries and people, places that I want around me while I do this is also very essential. Obviously, there has been a change in my family structure, and the time that I've taken away to reevaluate what is important to me, what I want to stand for, what I want my life work to represent and stand for. I realize that sometimes it's best to go it alone. you can go faster and farther. And since that's all I've known, really, you will come to realize that and find out more as you learn more about me. And we, of course, get to know each other more. You will realize that that's the right decision for me to make. And so without taking much of this time, I already have 20 minutes in. I wanted to get into the real meat of the conversation. And since it's the first time. First of all, why did I choose today to do this? Well, I choose today because tomorrow is our first maiden edition of North American Isheshe Day, in which myself and my brothers and sisters, we are put together so that we can meet together in North America for the first time in Toronto tomorrow. So I would like to say a big thank you to everyone who helped put this event together at Toronto Lakeshore. That, may Olodumare bless all of you in great for all the sacrifices to help put this event together. Mokibobule, Eshigon. And of course, most of you know already, I will not be able to be in Toronto tomorrow to join you. It's really, it's really hard for me to say it, but I really, really wanted to be there. And it's just that circumstances that's beyond my control is the reason why I am unable to physically be present. But I promise in my prayer, in my wure, in my thoughts, is that you have the best of the day tomorrow, and let Toronto know that we're here and we're here to stay. It's Isheshe 2025, maiden edition in Toronto, and it's promising to be an exciting time. Please do have an awesome time tomorrow. And I like to see those posts, and I'll be looking forward to see them on social media tomorrow. So thank you, Eshegon. Have a wonderful time tomorrow. And again, I'll be here to support you in sharing your content and any other thing that I may be able to be available for. So Eshegon, thank you. So that is out of the way. So the second and third reason I wanted to share about this particular topic is because my son, my firstborn, Adeyinka, he turns 13 years old this month, earlier this month, and the age he turned to is a very critical age. He just turned 13 years old, and given that age, it's very crucial because that is the age that, according to psychologists and what our lived experience also indicates, is that the age of 13 is the age where children are beginning to figure themselves out when you're a teenager. Mostly in the area of moral compass, the framework, how they make decisions. This is a very crucial time in their lives. And because of that, I remember myself being 13 years old. And that age, for me, what I would call now, when you look at your life people always say that life begins when you are 40. Well, I'm 46 years old. And I've had enough time to learn, to make my own mistakes, to make good decisions, amazing opportunities that I've had to learn, to grow. And when you have the opportunity, you catalog your lessons learned from all of years of being in this part of the world. I mean, on this side of eternity, you have to have something to give back. And for me, this is one ways I think I could do that by sharing my own experience at that same age. And perhaps as a point of contact to other 13-year-olds in the world, particularly himself, he can get a chance to know more about me. And by extension, I'm also extending that to everyone who might be interested, whether now or in the future. And so, yeah, that is that's the reason for me to stand here today and talk about and starting this series with today's first episode. I mean, 13-year-old is an age that we all, again, this is a a time to reflect, a time to start learning more about ourselves and start making ethical, moral, at least decision. This is when we start to figure those out. Depending on our environment, where we grew up, what influenced our character, our behavior. Again, regardless of that, this is when we observe, take what we like, maybe through peer pressure or not peer pressure, or any other means with which we can form our own, what Carl Jung, a very prominent individual in the area of psychology. Carl Jung's work is has a very heavy influence in some of my work and what I've done. And when I mention my work, it's not my work is kind of like it's in multiple strands. But what I'll say when I say my work is that my overall life work, other than just my professional life or my personal life, this is a combination of all of that in a self-education realm. So most of the subject topic I'll be sharing, yeah, they may be general topic, but it's how my lived experience is being affected or reflected through that experience is what I'm sharing. In other words, what I'm sharing is unique to me. What I find to be true, to be real, to be my own personal truth, is exclusive to the way I see it. And me sharing about this, again, going back to what Carl Jung calls the process of individualization of an individual. So for me, that is that narrative part is what I'm bringing into this particular episode, as it will also be affecting other episodes. But the most important thing you need to take away from this is that this is based on my own personal anecdote, lived experience that has proof, that may not have proof, but I am the embodiment of what I'm talking about, basically, if that makes sense. So how do I weave this? Okay. I will be sharing this story again and again and again in different versions, but this is the first version you will be getting here. So so relax. Whatever way I've told it today, it will be told differently at another time in different version, in different scenario that may be more appropriate. But today is more giving you general information and how that will play out going forward. So I may not use Facebook the next time. I may never ever use Facebook Live again. But this is today the first time I wanted to test it out, see how I feel about it. If this is not the right way, I will head into the studio and actually do a proper recording, or go into podcasts and a few other platforms in which I elected to utilize to be able to send my message. So to begin, I'm waiting to be exactly 4:30. So take all the ramblings all the way out, so that when it hits 4:30, I can begin to talk about the meats and flesh of today's program. So I'm gonna go ahead in three parts. I mean, the age of Titan is very crucial. And I said, from Satan to sanity, the boy will play Satan, Omishu Lawao. In Yoruba land, depending on the family structure you come from, you are either Muslim, Christian, or you are practicing Onisheshe, or you can be doing all the three, or a combination of all the three. That's just the way we are, where I come from. And where I come from is a place called Inisha. Inisha is about 4 hours to the north of Lagos State, and as is the northeast of Oduduwa land, Yoruba land. It's part of the old Oyo Empire, as well as Oyole, as it is today. The town that I come from is about less than 1 million population. Oh no, that would be too much. I think it's probably less than 500,000. 500,000 people. So it's a relatively um, uh, medium, I would say, a town, metropolis in Osun State. And the way our society is formed, I mean, again, I'm talking about from Satan to sanity. If you get a chance to read the book Awo, I think this way, what I'm talking about today will make a lot more sense to you. But this is nothing that is strange or new. It's just the fragmentation of our society, post-colonial, during colonial time and post-colonial time. We know that traditionally Yorubas are animist people. That's what we practice in our religion. The religion of Ifa and the Orishas, that's what we practice. And since our contact with the European that led to colonial experience and slavery, and the fragmentation of our culture has led to so many detrimental issues that we are grappling with today. But the area I'd like to focus on is specifically in when you're at the age of 13 years old and you are born into the Roman Catholic family, which is where I was born in, there are certain expectations that you have for children have as adults. And these are nothing that is out of the ordinary. In fact, it has positive net effects to it. I mean, colonialism, particularly as it relates to religious indoctrination, which was what happened to our contemporary ancestors. As our own time, the foreign religion, the Judeo-Christianity and the Islamic religions that was brought into our society did a number of damage to us, to our society, particularly in the fragmentation of our culture and our people, places and displacement of our traditional belief systems and our people in particular. But what I'd like to focus on is growing up in a Roman Catholic household where there is an observable event that you notice within the house, the internal household where you come from, and there's an observable event external to your household. So when you go to church, you have different groups in the church, you have different activities in the church, and you have different activity that is primed for children. So, you know, in school, you go, I mean, when you are in church, you go to Sunday school, at a certain age, you're not permitted to be in the general congregation, just for obvious reasons. Children need to go to children's school, Sunday school, an adult being in adult school. And the culture around what you do in terms of the activities that your children take part in school. I mean, in a church. Again, it's church. In church they differ. Maybe they based on the temperament, the family structure, the class, the class in the society. They do have influence on the activity that you could or you may or may not be able to take part in. Again, this is just a well-known established fact. You know, that's just what we have here too in America, in North America. You have kids who play hockey because their parents can afford to send them into a hockey school, 1, 2, and they're primed to play those kind of sport, and they can afford to put their children through those kind of rigorous training, obviously. For us, where I come from, every kid in the community, this is part of our culture. You want your family to look good, but also yourself to look good by participating in certain activities that would increase your level of, 1, responsibility, again, looking good is really important here because if I'm from a Roman Catholic family, for example, one of the value that is attached to that culture is that being a reverend father is like the penultimate thing. And this is a known fact. This is not a made-up word. And to get to that process, to get to become a reverend father, you just don't show up there overnight. It starts from when you were young. You're primed to be able to do that. For example, most kids that will ended up being like a reverend father are most likely going to be, well, an altar boy. Why? Well, an altar boy is kind of like it's almost like an entry point to serving within the larger congregation. And as you grow older, that responsibility increases with age, with experience, and all of that things you could do. And those values, parents, they hold them very dearly. It's a thing to want your children to want to be a reverend father. It's just a fact. It's just what it is. And for me, that is also what I wanted to be when I was young. Why? Well, there's never been any time in my own family history that we were never Roman Catholic people. My dad was, my mom was, my grandparent was, the one before them, that had just never, we just grew up to know that we are Roman Catholic people. That's it. There could be other family down the street who might be Anglican. It does not matter. We are Roman Catholic. And when you go to school, you go to the church. It's a missionary church school. You go to the same school in which you in church you attend. And that was also just a reality of it. And to qualify also to be able to do that, you have to go to certain experiences such as you go through the communion, confirmation. If you're a Roman Catholic or you're a Roman Catholic person, you know that what I'm saying is not new. It's just what it is. You go through all these lessons and have to qualify to be able to take one, the Holy Communion, Sunday services, and at other services where taking Holy Communion will be required. And so, and if you're familiar with all the training involved, you really have to be at your best behavior the whole 3-month training. I'm not sure how long it takes, but I think in my time it was about 3 to 4 months. So it's a big deal. For perspective, it's like having an after-school program here, where when you leave school, and then you have to go to extra class. For us, growing up in Indonesia, where I come from, and the St. Augustine Roman Catholic church where I went to, also is the same school. Yeah, that's what we do. We just go to church after school. Once you're qualified to be in the Holy Communion, once you take the communion, then you qualify, because you cannot be an altar boy to serve the Reverend Father on the altar. You can. One of the requirements is that you have to have gone through your confirmation, which is the idea that you go into silent training in order for you to be qualified to take the Holy Communion. And the moment you do that, and graduated from the Sunday school, and you move to the regular adult church, which is a much, I'm speaking to people who understand this, so I don't need to explain that. It's a big deal. And during that time, we were taught so many different life skills. So church isn't just for indoctrinations. There were benefits to being a Christian or to being a Roman Catholic, at least during our time. You get to learn so many different things. You learn to play different instruments. At least the program we had, it was really amazing program in the 80s. We had a lot of equipment, pianos for choirs, drum set, either donated by family or some other corporations. We always have something to play with. Drum set. You can join different group, like I said. For me, being an altar boy was the thing that was the thing for me, especially to carry the cross. That is the most coveted role every altar boy wants to be able to have. And for me, that was also the same. I wanted to be able to carry the cross for Christ. That is one of the things that excite any Roman Catholic person. And if this is not the case, please comment below and let me know if that is not the case. But I guarantee where I come from, being an altar boy is a big deal. And that's what I've always wanted to be. I mean, we have so many different activities that I could be joining, such as they have the choir. Again, once you graduate from the Sunday school class at that age, between the age of 12 and 13, all doors are open to you now because you get to join the main church service every Sunday. And then you get to pick the activity you want to be involved in. Because as for children, during that time, being a 13-year-old, you don't have any other choice. You just cannot be a regular, I mean, you could, but generally most family wants their children to be involved in some of the church activities. And there's a number of them you could join. Amazing program, by the way, that help children to build character. You can join. We don't have soccer team, at least in my time. We never had a church soccer team, but we do have Boys Brigade, Man O' War. Man O' War is more like it's something related to Boys and Girls Club, but this is very it's more for, they train them for crowd control. If church is having an event, we usually don't call the police. During my time when I was growing up, you would never see police in any event that is related to church. They have what we call Man O' War. They are volunteers from churches. Not just churches, I believe. I think they have Muslims in there too, but mostly they're dominated by the Christians. And they are the ones who usually are responsible for managing crowds at any church event, whether it is crusade. And Roman Catholic during that time in the 80s, when I was growing up, it's always the Man O' War that are most visible to control the crowd. And then next up to that, next on that list in the hierarchy of importance, and also based on age grade. I mean, if you're a Man O' War, unless you're very tough, at 13, you probably won't survive their training camp. But every kid wants to join anyway. So you have Boys Brigade. That one is simple. Why? Well, you basically they drum a lot. There's a boy like Joseph Cole. They do a lot of singing, drumming. I mean, most people who go through that, who are primed to go through that program, are often end up being music specialists, jazz artists. I mean, drummers. Very talented artists often always come from that pipeline. I wasn't interested in any of. I was interested in Man O' War, Boys Brigade too, but the one that I love the most is wanting to be an altar boy, because for us growing up, we didn't have the internet, none of that. I mean, it's just you wake up, you eat. On the day where you don't go to school, you just hang out with a bunch of your friends. You will run off, go to the river, to go swim, or go to Okwetile. That's the homestead close to the house, close to the town. We usually go there too. At least I remember those. And they were a fun period of my upbringing. And I will be sharing a lot more about those when the time is right, on the subject that are very relevant, at least for us to be able to take from that. And so, yeah. So the main crux of this story then is that, well, I ended up joining the altar boy that's my intent, and that was what I was primed to do once I finished. Just though, during the confirmations sessions, we don't just learn about the Bible or any historical record that we needed to have relating to Roman Catholic Church, how it started, and all of these other information we were often taught. And we taught mass book, how to read the Bible and stuff like that. We were taught different, very life lesson. But one particular one that I wanted to talk about is about acting, stage play. In which case, kids in my set, in my cohort, where we will often have a play, and after a graduation play where we all acted out in front of the audience, and then the audience take the message, they get the message, and then they clap for us. Everybody goes home. The next Sunday, we join the main church service now. That's how it worked. So in that time where they were going to cast who is going to act different role, I wanted to belong, because that is the main point of joining, the altar boy. I wanted to be a part of them. And so I was willing to do whatever role I'm asked to be a part of the play. And mind you, obviously people knew of me in the community. I'm the homeboy there. And there are other part of things that happened to me when I was much younger prior to that it's also a thing that is well known, at least among those who do know. And so there's been a certain idea of me. So to act at that event is like, okay, now we get to see him doing something that is, again, other than what I will get into that at a different episode. It's just something spooky that happened to me when I was 6 years old, and it's also it's a large part of what I'm becoming and what I am becoming now. That when I will get to that in a different episode, and so I was selected to play Ishu Odara. That was the one that I was casted to play. And you have every other kid have different role they needed to play. And then we had the hall that we had I think it was on Saturday. It was on Saturday event, so it wasn't on Sunday. We get to invite everyone that we know in the community to attend this event. It wasn't done inside the main church auditorium, because we have a hall that is just as big as any church at that time. But that's where we congregate. It's a children's school, if you will, but it's an actual hall that it's just a hall. It's multi-purpose hall that people could use during any event that has to do within the church premises. So it's a fairly big space to accommodate people, and that was what happened. So we have to invite all our friends and family. At that time, our society had not been so fractured now, where we have so much division between Christian and Muslim. No, not at all. During that time, Muslims come to church with us. Christians, we go to a mosque. This is a story that is not new to some of us. That's just how we grew up. There is no difference really in our family structure. We go to the same. Again, this is just not a big deal for us. But this event was a big deal, because not only do we have Christian, we have Muslims, we have Isheshe people, we have everybody. We usually invite them, and then we were playing, we were acting out, and the story is usually the same storyline. Somebody may be sick. They needed a healer to come there and heal the person that is sick. And then, the voodoo people, or people with spirit people, shaman, or voodoo or Ifa people issue. I want me issue. The colors. Because the indoctrination of the Western ideal of what religiosity or religious spirituality has been so put in the minds of our people that we hate our own traditional belief system. And my family lineage, I'm from a family of healers, what you might call shaman. But the right term, if I have to say in today's term, they call it Onishegun. But also, what would you call the right term for in today's world? At least in one of the specialization of my family lineage is they are psychiatrists. So, and that was indeed known in the community. It just since the campaign against traditional belief system has been so strong that those professions, they've been relegated to almost non-existent, but they are practicing them at that time. And oftentimes, even when I was little, we hear Reverend Father speak against those who practice traditional belief system. And my family happened to be one of also, this is I guess we can share, this is a story that is known in our community. It's not something that's it's a lie or anything like that. My family were one of the founding contributors of, there were 6 of them. Those who contributed the land or the endowment to get the cathedral done, I don't know, back in the 1800 or whenever that might be. So, and they usually call people like me, the term they will call us, Omobaba Logun. That means the child of a medicine man. It has a negative connotation to it and stigma, so you don't want to be known as Omobaba Logun. That means the child of the offspring of the medicine people. So that was indeed known in the community already. So whoever is there, they know what my where I come from. So acting issue to them is just natural. At least they would think so. But I didn't care about it. I just wanted to be a part of something going on. I wanted to act on stage like an actor. So I got on stage and the play was going on and everybody was enjoying it. It comes to a time when the pastor, the guy who played pastor now, has to kill issue. I am the issue, known that the evil guy, the Satan. And then, well, I played my part and I acted it really, it was awesome. The crowd was screaming, they were enjoying the show. Again, some of our family and those who were there, it's been a long time, when I was 13 years old during that time. But I think it was late 80 or 90, early 90, before secondary school. So definitely I was in, I don't know what they call it now, 6th grade. That was the last class before you go into high school. So I was in middle school, really. So yeah, I get to play issue. So I acted issue. I did my part. It was awesome. People were, this. I still remember the song to today. I will sing it. I'm sure one day I will get a chance to do this on stage. And the song, so I was acting my own part. The song was, if I jingin ringing, if I've already come, if I jingin ringing, oh, if I'm more. And then so on and so on. I forgot the rest of it, but that one stuck to me. So I sing the song. So people were singing the song and the drums. The whole stage was going like awesome. I was killing the act. They were enjoying it. People were yelling in the crowd. Now you have to understand, these are Christians and Muslims and traditional worshippers watching what was going on. The Reverend Fathers, church member, all of the invited guests who were there from different batches, from Oshogbo, from Tauja, from Bulatiman Orioke. Yeah, there's Orioke where we go. Anyway, people were from all over the country were there to witness this, because it's a big deal to graduate to have a Holy Communion and then graduate to the main church service. It's really crucial. Now you have to understand, I was still at that practicing level. The next Sunday after that is when we take the Holy Communion for the first time, after which you then will be primed or channeled to different activities in which you will belong. So if you want to be choir, it will be at that point you join the choir. You will join boys brigades. Boys brigade, they take care of the parking lot when the church is happening. So they're not like mano, but a few times, at least when I was growing up, you have 1 or 2 mano war guys who are more, their own training is more very militaristic. So they control the crowd, they can beat you, they have lashes. Boys brigade don't use lashes, they just use their words and giving instructions. They're like parking lot managers. But they enforce fights, they separate fights among kids. They're always there to watch, to make sure that everything is safe. But they don't get involved in violence and none of that. I mean, if boys brigade are boys brigade, if you know them, if you know this, you will know them. So yeah, so I acted the issue. I was doing the issue. It was awesome. The problem is that the guy who was playing pastor, who was playing Jesus, pastor, you know, he also just used this line and used the bad Bible and whacking in my head, do want something so I can die. Me, I'm the issue. So I can be the vanquished. He can be the hero. And I almost forgot his name now. I think it's my friend, Matthias. If I remember, he was the one who played that. Unfortunately, he passed away before we graduated. That's before we graduated into high school. So I was playing that role. Again, it was awesome. The crowd were loving it. But the pastor forgot his line and he forgot what to say. Now, this is a church event where the pastor is supposed to kill the supposing Satan. Well, I didn't die because he forgot his line. And the whole church were going banana. They were just enjoying the crowd, like, hey, issue, it's what I was still singing. And the person in charge of the whole thing, our choir master, like Oga Patapata, the president, is also from my family. It's also from my compound. It's from my family. So he's the head. And he's the one who does the talking drum. So he was giving me face to like get off the stage. You're done. But I didn't die. The crowd was loving it. Why should I leave? In my own 13-year-old thought, I didn't want to leave. Not because I didn't want to, but I wanted to give him a chance to kill me. But if everybody was expecting him to say his line and want something in mind, usually the Bible. But he got so nervous. Instead of him to do his line, he started watching my performance. So it became a very weird scenario where if Satan was supposed to die, issue, or me on issue. But I couldn't die because he couldn't kill me. Now, the Anyolike, the brothers who was beating the drum, he just threw the sticks at me like, get off the stage, God damn it. So I reluctantly left the stage. I'm going in the back channel, in the back room. And they were still beating the drum. Everything was still going. And yeah, everything was still going. And so I left the stage. I left. And, but the crowd was still cheering for my name. Like, hey, shoot. But this is church event. But she was the one that is getting all the blessings, that is getting all the clap. This led to, now, I was a kid. I didn't understand what was going on, but adults knew what was going on. This is a church event. She is not supposed to be taking all the attention and getting all the credit. But that was what was going on. It was strange. And since I left the stage and and that was like 25 minutes into the actual play itself. I know, 25% in, maybe 22. Yeah, it's not even up to 50% of where we were going with the performance. So there were still a lot of other scenes that ought to come right after me. No, that's not the truth. Actually, that was one of the last scenes, but it's not the last scene. The pastor was supposed to do his job. I was supposed to pretend to die because there had been other guys who had died before me, since I was the issue. I had all the other fighters who had to fight the pastor people. All he had to do is just put the Bible in front of them and they died. But since I'm the main Oga to fight, I couldn't just die easy. He has to do Jesus something. He has to lay hands on me or stuff while I try to dance. But because that didn't happen, in fact, I wasn't supposed to dance that much myself. It was because he forgot his line and I wanted to improvise to keep the stage going. Like, okay, we just can't wait for you to remember what you were supposed to say. So they changed instead of us to continue with the lines with what we were supposed to say, so they started beating the drum to make it excitable. And that's when I continued to dance. I expected everybody to wake up and join me in the dance and then we can end it there. That's what I thought it should be. So I kept dancing to improvise that, okay, I'll keep doing my line until he figures it out. But the more I did mine, the more he forgot it. He couldn't, again, it got to a time where it almost looked like he wants to start crying. That's when the Oga sent me off the stage. But you have to realize, as a 13-year-old kid, being known as Omishu, that could not be killed by a pastor, it was a big deal. It was a very traumatic experience for you to walk everywhere and they know that you are the Satan that couldn't be killed by a pastor. Omishu becomes the stigma. The child of Satan, Omishu, became my own stigma. It became very difficult for me to, it wasn't a big deal, but it became a big deal when all the other kids in the neighborhood started calling you Omishu. And given my family history in town, which I wouldn't want to get into, it became more, for me, it became more, it's a big deal for me, basically, because we're supposed to be Roman Catholic people. But we also have a history in town about our family, with our belief system, in our traditional belief system, because we do both. I mean, the generation at that time, they did both. And because of their position in the church as Baba Saleh, it's a very weird dynamic. For me, it became a time where it was difficult for me to live where I was born because the stigma of being Omishu. But in reality, it's actually not the case because, again, it's something that I will get into more when I do other episodes. I'm not the issue. Being an Omishu, in that the Satan is something that is not even me. It wouldn't be what my description would be like. But when I found out more about our family, and I realized that there had been cases in the past that make people to be afraid of us, being called our Meshu, or being known as a child of Satan, made it a lot more isolating for me. So my childhood in that sense was very isolating, in the sense that having a certain disposition, a certain stigma around you, and giving, again, like I said, some of the things that happened that our family, not the negative, is actually something good. The story was that some family that is known to be cuckoo, mad for like 25 years. I apologize, I don't know any of the family, and I have no relation to any of them. So if any of them is watching, it's just, this is for educational purposes. This is not to open any kind of wound for any triggering family at all. This is not for that. This is for educational purpose. And so for me, I lived under that stigma of being Omishu. And it was very difficult for you to, because all I wanted to do is to be able to carry the cross and be a reverend and be an altar boy. So having that stigma attached to me everywhere, I mean, it's an event that you cannot escape. Everybody knew the story, knew about the story. So if there had been social media back then, you would see it would have been all over the internet. But it was in the late 80s, early 90s that this happened. So it wasn't, but that was for me something that I learned. And what are the lessons there? For a 13-year-old person, for my son, Adeyinka, watching me right now, for example, you will learn that, at least for me, it's very important for me to step up to wanting to be a part of something bigger than myself by volunteering, by wanting to be in the play. I knew I could do it, I could act, because that's what I ended up in my later life, being involved in, whether that is in debate society, whether that is in the acting. I mean, I still, today, I'm still involved in production of films, Hollywood films type, So it's still related to what I'm doing right now. But one very crucial part of it is that being an Omishu is a very good thing. It's actually a thing that I am now realizing that is actually my future self. When I was 13 years old, is telling me that, no, you are Omishu for real, and you cannot just be killed anyhow. That is what I interpret it to be in today, because when you fast forward it, what I went through during that time was the real thing. And so after so much learning to do and so much more that's happened since that 13-year-old, I wanted to leave town. I didn't want to be around. I don't usually want to hang out with nobody. It's always very difficult to, not because I don't want to, but the idea that my issue is coming, it makes it a lot, and also the dynamics of your family's socioeconomic situation can make it a lot more difficult to actually fight off some of those stigma. And that was my own experience in that sense. But the key thing to take away from this episode is that don't be afraid to be different. Don't be afraid to be different at all. Step up. If you have the opportunity to act, not just in public, choose the better version of yourself. Because for me, I wanted to be an altar boy, and that was a good thing. And I still was. I still was able to go on to become an altar boy. I still achieved my dream to carry the cross as one of the main things that you want to do. You have to grow up, obviously, to the ranks to be able to have the responsibility to carry your cross, to carry cross during church services. And I was able to do that before I graduated high school. Actually, a year after that, that's when I went to Lagos. Because, I mean, obviously everybody wants to have the opportunity, wants to graduate, to go to Lagos. It's like our own New York City. So, but I got a chance to do that a year after that. But that year, it was very difficult for me to, when you are where we come from, kids were supposed to hang out with each other, right? You go in groups, you go to, even if you're doing something mischievous, we're supposed to hang out together and hang around and just go to do something. It was a difficult thing for me to get to do that with all the other kids, because one thing is also known about me is that I usually don't lie. And when we go to do something, where you go to the farm or you go to the river where we go swim in Odwatin. Odwatin is one of the deities in town that we venerate. And the river too, we go there to swim. However, parents don't like kids to go do that. But that's where we go to. That's one of the places that we go to do. I mean, we're teenager, right? But you have, I experienced the cases where my age group, they try to avoid me because they don't want me to come with them. Those silly things, it affected me a lot during that time, because I was generally known as a lone kid, like I'm always alone, but not alone in the real sense of the word. But those who understand this, we know this, that we are always a group society. And to experience things that is not through the fault of your own, to be very isolated for that. It's it changes you. And in what Carl Jung called the process of individualizations, that means the way to know that you know about what you know. Basically the ontological process or the epistemological process of knowing what you know, of becoming you, of becoming who you are today, whether as an adult or from that age, is a process that for me was quite unique. I had a chance to be isolated, to be ostracized from the group, and be forced to learn through my own internal processing. So external validation don't work for me. I don't depend on it. I used to, but over time I learned to depend on what comes from within me, not depend on what was coming from outside of me. Because during those years, they were difficult years. I mean, not that I don't hang out with them. We play soccer. We still go to a farm, and we still go to do other mischievous things that kids do. But they know one thing for sure. I will not lie. When we go do activity, once we come home and the adult ask all the other kids, but when they come to me, they know they will get the truth out of me. That caused hatred. That caused malice. That caused so many things that I cannot begin to tell you right now. But I'll say this for sure, that those are the guiding principles. They were the leading compounds. They were the map with which I I built my own network in what I call the Adaptive Learning Arc, which is the map in which I found my way around the world, not from the outside validation or outside dependency. It often comes from within myself, because through many years of being almost socially isolated for good reasons, I've learned to depend on what is able to come out of me and what I'm able to observe. Because when you are not sometimes allowed to be a part of the group, what it does give you is to give you the ability to learn to be resourceful on your own. And so if there's a group, organization, schools, name it, churches, I will get into all of these at a later time episode, will strategically gather themselves in their own squabble to say, hey, let him not know, hey, we'll keep this from me. No, I have been dealing with this pretty much all my life. It's not it's not new to me at all. But what is new is that even people, what is new is that the world is changed and it's changing. And it's time for us to start coming out of ourselves a lot more and share our experience, what our backstory has been. So for me, I knew since then that I was meant to be doing something related to Ifa and Isheshe, Noah. And since that time, with all that I went through, I can tell you right now, my ancestors never left me alone at all. They never left me alone. And I will be getting into that as well at a later time, in how I've survived on my own since that 13 years old. And I tell you what, it's not something that is easy, but it's something that happened. But it's been a very well-lived life that I've learned so much, and I have so many lessons, so many stupid decisions, so many lessons that I learned, and blessings that have come from being able to stand on my own, knowing that I did play my part. I held the stage. And so, and that's very important, because I could have just left the stage and left the performance and people will be wondering why. No, but I held on to the stage to say that no, this must go on. I must keep the crowd entertained, not because I just wanted to, but I must hold that space for him to remember his lines so we can move on to the next stage. Because I was dedicated to the acting my part, but also making sure that the entire group we get to be successful on our drama play, on our play. That was for me. I just was sold out to wanting to act, to be that actor for the group. It just turned out to be the way it was. That the guy to play pastor, he did forget his line, and that was really the story. Again, there's so many lines that I skipped, so many other intricacies that I skipped, because it's my first time being live, and there is nobody to ask or to engage with on this one. I still feel it's very important for me to get this help today. Yeah, happy Isheshe Day for those who are celebrating in Toronto tomorrow, and those who have celebrated yesterday, 2 days ago, in Nigeria, in Benin, in Togo, in Ivory Coast, and everywhere else that there is Omodudua. I wanted to say to you that Happy New Year and Happy Isheshe Day. May 2025 and beyond being an amazing year for us. The year of unity, the year of togetherness, and all the issues that we have in Yoruba land that are lingering on right now, we will deal with them at the right time. We know about the event that is happening in Kwara State, all the killing that has been taking place there. At the right time, we will address all of these cases, all of these issues in due time. So thank you for the time. I appreciate for those who are watching and those who will watch later. I wanted to say Aboruboy to all of you. May you have a great day. Thank you for the time. It's the Oro Inugi. For Oro Inugi is an advocate for the poor. He spares the land. We have so much work to do to fix Yoruba land. And me, as many of you who have been working tirelessly to make sure that this indeed we get it done. And we get it done in our own generations. I want to say thank you to all of you in your different diversities. And for me as well, whatever contribution we can all do together, please let's keep pushing. mo kí gbogbo lé mo ṣe àlàbọ̀rúbọ̀ yìí. Have a great evening. It's your Ọ̀rọ̀ Inú Igi. Bye for now.